Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Navajo Tea Time. Today, I am going to be interviewing Kelsey Lee, the co-host of Navajo Tea Time and the owner of Happy Accidents Media Productions. So, I have a list of questions. There are 14 total. Some of them mirror the questions that you posed to me. So, I don't think you're going to be blindsided by anything. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Question number 1. Do you know your Hogwarts house?
Yes, I am a Slytherin. I'm proud to be a Slytherin. There's a funny story about that. When Pottermore first came out, they had the tests that they do now seem very arbitrary in a way. But when the tests first came out, they were really elaborate and weird. Like you didn't know how this question correlated to a house. So I took the test the first time and then I was Slytherin, but then I lost the passcode and my username because they gave you a username and a password already pre-generated, and that was what it was. You couldn't change it. And so I lost that information. I'm like, oh no, I have to take this quiz again and I have to set up a whole new account. What if I'm not a Slytherin the second time? And I don't know how I can explain to you like how, you know, that made my heart race, not knowing if I was going to get Slytherin again. But I did. I got Slytherin again. So I took that very odd, super in-depth quiz twice and got Slytherin twice.
Wow. Well, now I know what to get you for your birthday.
I don't know. It's a pride to be Slytherin. Like when you know you're Slytherin, you're like, yes, this is who I am. I'm an ambitious person who will do whatever it takes to get my goals done. I feel like people twist it in a way to like, oh, it's only for evil. You only want to do evil things. It's just that we don't, in the way the Slytherin community talks about, it's like, we don't care what you think about how we got our achievements. You know, it's like, sure, like, yeah, they won the race, you know, but, you know, maybe they slashed a tire or two along the way, but you know what? They won. So
I can vouch for that. Kelsey is a boss ass. She, like, you think, I don't know what you guys think about me, but I consider myself pretty, like, I don't know, on top of things. You know what I mean? I can be a professional. I've done a lot, but like, honestly, Kelsey keeps me on top of things. She makes sure that I'm on time. She makes sure that when I commit to something, I follow through with it. And I don't even think I'm a flake, but compared to Kelsey, like, she's going to get it done. She's going to make sure that what we planned is going to happen. And I really do commend you, because I think Navajo Tea Time would not exist if it wasn't for you and your determination.
Thanks. But yeah, so like one of my favorite Slytherins, I just wanted an excuse to talk about Harry Potter on Navajo Tea Time. But anyway, one of my favorite Slytherins is actually Narcissa Malfoy, Draco Malfoy's mom. And because everyone thinks, you know, oh, she's cold, she's this way, she's stuck up, she only believes in pure blood stuff. You know, like, that's her upbringing. It's something she isn't ready to break from. But her ambition has always been family first. Like, if you read through the books and all the things, everything she's ever done has been for her son. You know, to protect her son, to protect her family, to make sure he has the best life possible. And that's her ambition, that's her goal. And so you see that through the book, but it's through the lens of Harry and, you know, Gryffindors. So it looks bad, it looks malicious, it looks evil. Because, you know, the first thing she asks Harry when she goes to check and see if he's alive is Draco alive? That's all she cares about through that whole battle at the end, is whether or not her son's okay. And then the moment she gets her son, she grabs her husband and they bail. They're out. They don't care about the war. She has her family, so she's gone. So, you know, she's my favorite character besides Bellatrix, but that's for a whole nother reason. So, you know, Slytherins get a bad rap, but if you just boil it down to like figuring out what their ambition is, all of the things that they do, and everything that they try to achieve, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That sounds admirable to me. All right.
And also, my soulmate is a Slytherin.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Reals. If you don't know who my soulmate is, it's Mona, not my husband.
Mona, yeah.
But
Oh, well, I know. When you said soulmate, her face popped up. So, yeah. So whoever doesn't, I don't know. We don't talk about Mona a lot. I know we wanted to bring her on Navajo Tea Time at some point, but I actually met Kelsey through Mona. She and I were attending, I think we were in the same class or something for at NAU. I don't remember.
it was the Che Club.
Yeah.
Mona brought me, no, Guai brought, one of them, Mona or Guai brought me to the Che Club. And then you were there, but we also had a drawing class before that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. She still makes fun of me because I still have my sketches in my office, which is like, is that from drawing class?
I wasn't making fun of you. I was like, oh, you still have that? That's nice. Mine got put in storage and ruined, so I can't ever look at them again. So
I'm all proud of it. It's a seashell.
It looks really nice.
I love.
You should be proud of that seashell.
Yeah, Mona's cool though. That's cool that she's a Slytherin.
Mm-hmm. It only made sense, but
yeah, she's determined. Have you seen the dresses she's made? Oh my goodness, she makes them from scratch. It's really cool. Yeah,
she made my daughter a little Navajo dress. I don't know if you've seen it. I could probably share it on Navajo Tea Time Instagram, but she has like a little green top and a white bottom. Mona made that for her.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
And then Mona made my white Sani skirt because we were supposed to have like a little matching set, but she couldn't get the green top done in time, so I just had the skirt.
I think it's so cool that she can sew and make things from scratch. Because I remember when we did, when we entered the Rockabilly Royale Betty contest, she made her outfits. Like, I bought mine, and she, like, made hers. That was so cool. I was impressed.
Yeah, Mona's amazing. She doesn't think she's crafty or artsy or whatever, but the dresses she makes and the clothing and styles that she puts together, you know, there's definitely an artistic eye in there. She's more of a sciencey person, though. She has, like, a bachelor's in microbiology, which is amazing.
It is. She's really smart. Okay. Anything else about your Hogwarts house that you want to say before I ask you the next question?
I can go on and on about my
Okay, no, I'm going to cut you off.
If you want to keep going on Hogwarts, we can. I watch them.
Maybe how do your goals relate to Hogwarts? I'm just kidding. No, the second question I was going to ask you are, what are your goals, personal and professional?
I guess true to my Slytherinness and my over planning of things, I definitely want 3 children, 2 girls, 1 boy. I want to live on my home site lease. Eventually I want to move there, start off with a tiny house and then build up to a bigger Victorian house. These are all very specific goals that I have planned and ironed out. But they do also, you know, I do keep in mind what my husband wants. So it's not just always all about me, although some people think otherwise. Mom. But anyways, and professionally, I just would like to work on videos and film full time all the time, you know, wake up in the morning, go to a film studio, start the day off with my nice scheduled list on what shots we need when and what things we need to get done. And like in film school, that was the highlight of my days when I got to organize a film shoot. Like I made sure all the actors and the crew got their little information sheet. They knew what they needed, when they needed to be there, and how long they were going to be there. And then I also organized the shot list, like what shots do we need to get? How long do we have to get all those shots in what time frame? So all of that was super fun, and I love doing that. So I want to be able to get back to where I can just do that all day, every day. So it would be getting a business site lease on the reservation and creating a film studio. But then also we need room for Urian's music and Al Gernon's artwork and art studios and music studios and all that stuff there. So those are my goals, my end goals of where I want to be and end up in the end.
Those are lofty goals. I love the goal of having a Victorian house. That is so cool. I would love to live in a Victorian also.
Right?
I look at them on Trulia often.
There's one house specifically in downtown Flagstaff. It used to be Zani's paper shop or something where they'd have like really fancy paper. Oh my gosh, fancy paper. But anyways, I love the layout of that house. It's now like I don't want to say a knickknack shop, where like a lot of the stuff's been like repurposed and reused, and like it's junk, but it's been reused and remade, repainted, and turned into something else. It's that right now, but I love the way the house is laid out. I love walking through it, and you hear the creaks of the wooden floor. I like the old-fashioned doorknobs and handles and everything. And I was like, I want to live in this house, but I probably will never be able to afford the rent if it was just a house.
Oh my goodness, I know. I mean, and you can't really get a Victorian built anymore either because people don't know the woodwork, the woodwork is so intricate and elaborate. It's like,
for sure. Like you see those like Victorian house like remakes and everything, and you see the crown molding, or like on the ceiling they have like these plastered ceilings where it was like hand molded. It's like, oh my goodness, I just have popcorn on my ceiling. What the heck happened?
I know.
I want little cherubs and a sun and grapevines and roses. I don't want these popcorn.
I know, seriously.
No one even likes popcorn ceiling. It's like, why did they even invent it in the first place?
I know, it's gross. Or like stucco. There's no actual like, I don't know. I like the shutters. I like, all the work on the outside, the porches and the
scallops and the
or like the turrets, all of that. And like you don't see that on houses anymore. It's just boring. And
I want to have a breakfast nook and a north drawing room, and then I need a sitting room, and I need all these little fancy rooms that are for one purpose. I need a tea room for me and Mona.
I would not mind crashing that party.
Me and Mona talk about it all the time. It's like, once we get our home site leased up, we'll have our little tea room, and Mona, here's a room for you with an ensuite so you can stay whenever you want, and then we'll have tea parties and dress up in fancy bustresses and lace gloves and just sipping tea.
Oh my god, have you seen Coraline?
Yes, I have.
You and Mona are like those two ladies with with all those cats. Were they cats?
No,
or
they were dogs.
All those dogs. That's like, you and Mona.
Russell Terriers. Like, oh, our dearly departed. Couldn't bear to part with them. So we had them stuffed. She watched that yesterday while we were waiting for the food boxes in line. It's so fresh in my head. It's funny because I have a button that fell off of one of my winter jackets, and Frankie keeps finding it lying around. So she runs in, like, she finds me and she's like, Mama's eye? Because, the mom has button eyes. So she's like, here, Mom, I found your eye. It's like, thank you, Frankie.
That is so twisted, so dark.
I like that she likes the movie movies me and my husband like.
Mm-hmm. I know,
It
that's
makes
the
watching them
coolest thing.
over and over again easier.
Totally, I know. Yeah, I feel the same way. I love my kids like the stuff that I like. It's like super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son, he's a big metalhead and I love it. And he's loved metal since he was a baby. And like he's the kind of kid that he can hear just the first few notes of a song and he's like, that's Fear Factory, or that's Rammstein, or that's Static X, or that's Metallica, or like he knows way more bands than I do, and he's really into like Japanese metal too. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
As my brother will tell anyone, I'm tone deaf, so I wouldn't be able to pick up the notes on the first try, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is that one band that plays this one song at this one time. I'm bad with names and I'm bad with tones. So mix them together and it's like, I like this song. I know this lyric, but I don't know who it's by and I don't know what the name of the song is. I'll know it again when it comes up on the radio.
That is like pulling his hair out. That's funny. For people that don't know, Kelsey's brother is a sound engineer, and so his whole thing is music and sound and audio, all of that. So it's kind of funny. You guys are so drastically different.
That's why I keep him around,
Mm-hmm. He's like, your audio sucks. Give it to me.
Basically.
God. Okay. All right. Question number 3. What do you do professionally?
What do I do professionally? I make videos.
No, that's it.
That's it. Well, my official title is the Chief Executive Member of Happy Accidents Media Production, LLC. So I do a lot of the paperwork. I filed all the paperwork to becoming an official business. I typed everything up. I do all the business meeting notes and organizing it. But recently I've been pushing for the other two owners to pull some of that weight. I'm making them right now watch a webinar to how to fully integrate our business digitally and take full advantage of that. So I just told them, you two do it and report back to me what you guys learned, and then we'll figure out how to do what you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you follow Urian Lee on Instagram, you'll probably see a post saying, I'm going to try and take these notes for my business. Fingers crossed. So I'm letting them worry about that right now, and I'm not going to worry about that. And then right now, I think I'm focusing more on promotional videos for small businesses in my area, because the small businesses in my area could use promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I can confidently say there are no production companies within 100 miles of where I live.
Wow.
Yeah, but maybe we can pop up on the screen about the circumference of where I live and 100 miles of it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, like, as a second part of that question is just like, I don't know if a lot of people know exactly what a film or a video, you said you make videos. People are probably like, well, what kind of videos? Do you just do YouTube videos? You know what I mean? So I was going to say, like, could you elaborate a little more on what kind of videos you do specifically besides YouTube?
I like doing business promotions if they're really small and simple. We did a promotion for Big Hogan Enterprise. They were trying to make a video to help obtain investors.
Mm-hmm.
So we made a video for them, and it was really nice getting to know their process of a business site lease, because they finally got a business site lease approved after 10 years.
Wow.
And then they had to zone their area, and there's just a lot of complications with trying to secure land to build a physical business site on. There's grazing people, mainly the grazing people, but then sometimes you get, I say traditionalists in a negative way, I guess, to like emphasize how they don't want things to change. They want things to stay the same, traditional, not in the cultural sense, but like we've never done it that way, so let's not change it, sort of traditionalists. And so there's people who come up like, well, why do we need this? We've never had it before, so why do we need it now? And so there's a lot of those people that come up during chapter meetings when trying to secure business site leases and get permission to build things and do things with your business. And I feel like a lot of businesses off the reservation don't have to think about. Like, sure, they have to deal with city planning, but there's a city board or city members that you know you're talking to and you know who they are. At a chapter meeting, there could be somebody who's never gone to a chapter meeting, but they live close to where your business site is, and then they show up and, you know, just derail your whole plans. But you've never seen them before. They've never been to a chapter meeting before. It's just this thing directly affects them, so they showed up. And so sometimes it's frustrating. Well, a lot of the times it's frustrating with that. But so being able to tell her story and capturing and helping her advance her business is one of the things I like doing. And my family has always been a part of the roadside business, you know, business. And so I really want to help them grow and expand with what they're doing. Hi! These are my little one.
Aww.
Here, take the cookies and go. Over on my end, so I'm almost done.
Taylor's waiting.
Okay. If you don't know, we're gonna egg my brother Taylor after this.
Mischievous.
Well, Ryan did a post that said, hey, I'll egg my brother if I get so many comments so many years. He didn't expect to ever reach that. And there was a lot of people, there was a couple of people who were very responsible for this. You know, people,
like, this needs to happen.
one word per comment, making a sentence. So Ryan's now obligated. There's a couple of people who are really passionate about this happening, and they need proof. So as the on-site videographer, they're gonna need me soon.
I love it.
But like I was saying, I just want to help the vendors be able to expand their business more than just a roadside attraction. You know, even if they are just a roadside attraction, you know, film it. Say, hey, this is where you pull off the road to find them, and this is what you're going to find, and these are the people you're going to see, and buy their things. So, and I also love doing fictional pieces, so that's why I've been doing a lot of challenges, video challenges. I have that one that's been going around from the music bed. I've been posting that up, and then there was another 72-hour challenge, and just doing those has really reinvigorated my desire to do fictional films, because they're so fun. You know, you just make something up, you hot glue gun something together, and it's a prop, and then you have something to film, and it's really fun and exciting to do stuff like that too.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Halloween every day.
That's funny. Well, you have a really cool job. That's all I gotta say. That's a cool job. It sounds like, I mean, I wish I had the skill set you do, but I'm really glad I know you, because I'm able to use your services when I need them.
For sure.
Yeah, and
what I'm here for.
Yeah, and if anybody is within her 100-mile radius, I highly suggest reaching out to Happy Accidents Media Production, because They're legit. They do a good job. And Kelsey is really fun to work with.
Thank you.
Y'all, even though she seems like a drag. I'm just kidding. She's awesome. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Number 4. What was your favorite subject or class in college?
In college?
Yeah.
Psychology.
Oh, why?
I just like the way the mind works. And it's always fascinated me of how like drastic people can be. Because on one end you get people who are just naturally good and, you know, morally stable, and then you get like psychopaths who just, they don't care, they have no empathy whatsoever for anyone, and then you have all the people in between, and not everyone's the same. And different things affect the way our minds work. Like when you're growing in the belly, different chemicals that your mom receives affect you, but also the way you're raised and the different things that happen to you at certain times as you're developing affect who you are as a person. And it just really fascinates me. Like, again, my brother Urian, he's like, Kelsey, I'd be afraid if you were a psychologist, especially if it was research, because I don't know how far you would take it. Just, you know, yeah. I'm going to do this to you. How do you feel? What about this?
Maybe doing like milligram experiments.
Yeah, but one thing, if I was ever to go back to school, would definitely go back to be psychologist. Yeah, because it's just fun to see how the mind works. Not like go back and become like a counselor or a therapist. Because my advice, I don't think, helps people in the same way. I have a low tolerance for empathy. Just because after a while, I'm like, I get it, you're sad. And you just cry and move forward.
I get it, you're sad.
But, you know, it's like, it's been a week. Can we move on now? So I wouldn't be a good therapist, but, you know, figuring out why people do things and how the mind works and the different synapses that go off in the brain after being trained or being untrained or for no reason at all. It's just fascinating. And I took a personality psychology class, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to do more of this, but I'm not really good at reading. And there's a lot of reading in psychology. So I was like, I can't keep doing this, especially with those psychology words. They're long and descriptive and a lot of repeating consonants. So
I think you're in the right field. Okay. Question number 5. What motivates you to work hard?
It's probably something my dad instilled in me. It's like, if you're gonna do something, just do it well. And I think that's why he never did a lot. like my dad was really good at what he did, but he didn't do a lot.
Well, there is that thing that people say, like, you can be a master of, what was it? A master of, I forgot the exact quote, but it's like, you're proficient at many things, but a master of nothing, right?
It's like the jack of all trades, or the master is a master of none.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, for sure. But what motivates me is just that I have a goal. That's why my goals are super specific and clear. is
Mm-hmm.
because I know what my goal is, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's just taking little steps to get to the goals. Like you were saying before, like you guys staying in on the reservation, you have a purpose, you have a plan, and you know what you're gonna do about it, you know. That's just how I, like, with my business, I knew what I wanted from my business. And my goals aren't just like, oh, arbitrary goals, so I'm gonna work at them. It's like when I decided I wanted to do a production studio, I actually had a dream about what the studio would look like, and it was so real. I walked into those doors, I saw the walls, I saw how the whole construction was, and I heard the people's feet, and I smelled all the chemicals in the air from cleaning the buildings and stuff, and it was real to me. It feels real to me. So I'm just working to get to that dream that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's in my mind, it was real. You know, like when you have those dreams, it was just so real. All your senses, you know, you felt it with all your senses. So with like what motivates me is just achieving that dream that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I just have to plan out just the little steps to make it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind
I
of like a
love that.
road trip, you know where your end destination is, and if you're driving, you drive for this long, and then you sleep at this town, and then you probably want to eat at this place, and then you leave by this time, you can get gas at this station, you know. That's how I plan my trips.
Oh my God, are you serious? Oh, I would hate to go on a trip with you.
Why?
Too structured.
You know where you're sleeping when you get to the place, so it's not like, oh my goodness, how are we gonna find a hotel? Where are we gonna sleep? We've been driving for 3 hours and we can't find a place because they're all booked up. That sounds stressful to me. Oh, you guys.
I know, I'm just kidding. No, we've actually gone on a road trip before. I remember when we were filming for Nabin, remember?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
But that was on my trip. I didn't plan that one. That was all on you.
That was all me.
I was a couple months pregnant, so.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Dang. Okay, well, do you do vision boards?
Yeah.
That's cool. I've never done one, but that's cool.
I had to do one because I kept asking my husband what he wanted in his future, and he's just like, whatever you want, whatever you want. So I actually sat him down. We went on the internet, went through a couple of magazines, read out phrases we liked, cut out pictures of things we wanted, you know, and I made him do it. So I was like, what do you want? Like the next 5 years, what do you envision? What do you want for yourself? I'm like, and don't worry about hurting my feelings or whatever. This is what you want to accomplish in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I forced him to do it just because I need to plan out my life, and he's a part of my life. So if I don't know what he wants to do, then he doesn't get to do anything he wants because it's not in the plan if he didn't tell me. You know?
I used to like making Pinterest boards.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just keep a bunch of photos on my phone. Like right now, my main focus is like building a home. And so I have photos of all the different kinds of homes I want, like inside and outside, like specific designs. And I keep them on my phone so I can like, you know, when I don't know, I need something to focus on. Like if I get overwhelmed, I'll just open my phone and look at those. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm working for. I'm really like targeted, and I think like for me, it's always like one step at a time, you know, like, so right now I'm really focused on a house. And then, you know, once that's accomplished, then I'll focus on the next thing, which might be career or something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, like I want a specific garden. So I like Pinteresting those little garden things. And then also the house. And like we specifically want to make a tiny house first because, yeah, I've been watching the HGTV and DIY networks, tiny homes, and I want to experience it. It looks fun. I like all the cute little gadgets and gadgets you can attach to a tiny home. Like, oh, look, it's a stair and a drawer. I'm like, that's so efficient. That's nice. That's useful. It's not an empty box.
Mm-hmm.
And those little things just, they warm my heart. It's like, oh, look at It's a table and a cutting board and a desk, and it also opens up to an easel. You know, why just be one thing?
I know, right? I know. Have you seen those homes in Japan? They're like so efficient. Like the design is so intelligent and everything kind of folds into something else and it's multi-purpose. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, well, that was fascinating. I love hearing about that. I don't know. I think our viewers are going to get a pretty good view of how we think when they watch these videos. And also like how we get from point A to point B, you know, this is how I plan it out, or this is how I visualize it, or
Why
this is how I stumble into things. That's like me. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty structured, I think, but probably not as much as you are.
It's just like, it's not an OCD thing. I think listing it now, it's more of an anxiety thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just because being the oldest daughter and my mom is ADHD, and she didn't get medication until after my youngest sister was born. So I was already like 9 years old or whatever. So my mom wasn't really good at planning and keeping a schedule. So I was the one who had to plan and keep a schedule. Going grocery shopping, I'm the one who made the list and like, you know, write down the list of things we need to buy and places we need to go, because she would just ramble it off and then forget about it. I'm like, nope, Mom, we have to go here. Don't forget we need this thing. And then that was my job, to just keep my mom on schedule and on task. And that just kind of just leaked into my personality. It's just how I am now.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Honestly, okay, so I know I pick on you and stuff, but I mean, when we took our trip to Colombia, I was very meticulous because we were going into a whole other country. We didn't speak the language, and so I had to make sure I knew like what apps I could download, make sure I understood currency, make sure I understood the map, and I had everything pre-planned ahead of time. That way we would just have to show up, you know, because I did not want to end up in a situation where we did not have a place to sleep, or we didn't have a direction, you know what I mean? Or we like, what happens if you get lost? Who do you reach out to? So I've actually, you know, I have my moments when I'm very, very meticulous about my planning, but it's usually like a life or death situation.
It's always a life situation, Adrienne. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, next question. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, question number 6. What is your proudest accomplishment?
I don't know. That's hard for me. Like, I guess graduating so far has been a really proud accomplishment of mine. I'm the first one of my siblings to graduate. I think I'm the only one of my siblings to graduate, for multiple reasons. But it's funny. So my younger brother didn't finish college because it was too structured. And I feel like my older brother didn't finish college because it wasn't structured enough, because he was coming in after the military. So it's hilarious because he said this one time he was in a math class and there was a girl just knitting in the middle of math class. Because I've seen people do that. Like, you know, they just sit there and they knit and they can hear the information and it helps them remember. There's different techniques to help remember information. But it really bothered him. He's like, this girl, she was just knitting in the middle of class, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why? Why does it bother you? She's going to knit. Just leave her alone, you know? But I feel like just it being not structured enough for him, and him being like, I'm 20-something years old. I have a family. I have a house. Why am I sitting here being talked to like a child, you know? So. And he was already skilled. He's a pretty skilled aircraft mechanic. So,
wow,
he got a job in his field that he got from the military. But I feel like it's funny that one brother couldn't take it because it wasn't structured enough, and the other one was too structured, so they just never finished.
I know that is funny. You're like the perfect, you have the perfect temperament to handle the university life.
I feel like I always do best when I have a deadline and a rubric. Like in art class, If I knew what they were looking for and what they wanted, the teacher, the medium, the thing that they were trying to accomplish, I could do art all day long if I had those assignments assigned to me. But outside of art class, I can't draw for squat. I can't sit there and draw somebody and doodle something or something like that because, well, I guess the Slytherin word, there's no reward, there's no grade to get from that.
I love doodling.
Accomplishments. I started a company. I have a baby. I have a husband. I don't have a house, but it's not my fault.
Let me ask. So are those things that I'm assuming these are goals that you had set for yourself, right? And like, did you map out your life? Like, this is what I want. Like, I want a child and I want a husband and I want a company. And you know what I mean? Do you map it out and list it out and check off the box when it happened?
Not those things. Professional goals I do. Personal goals, I feel like they come and go when they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I always wanted a daughter. I always wanted a kid. I always wanted a little tiny me to see how I am. But the idea of like for personal goals, it's always things I envision and just things that constantly come up in dreams and daydreaming. So I always had a child and always had a daughter. It was really hard to see the father.
Mm-hmm.
So I always envisioned, I don't know, not being a single mom, but just always having a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the dad was there or not didn't mean anything.
Wow.
To me. So, but I'm grateful for my husband. He's a great husband. He does a lot of things for my family, and he tries to do a lot for his family, and he does everything he can for Frankie and me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. He seems like a really great guy. He seems really patient and supportive. I think that's cool. Great.
I feel like everyone likes him more than they like me. Like,
what?
Like all my film friends, like my film school friends, they got to know me first, then they get to know Gernon, and then I feel like they like Gernon more because they just know how difficult of a person I am.
I mean, he is really nice and hard not to like, but if push came to shove, I'd be on Team Kelsey. Sorry, Gernon.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that means.
I don't know. The image that came to my head, like if we were in a divorce and then we had to pick the friends we get to keep, and then it's like, okay, Adrian, Mona, Gernon, here's your friends there, and like couples, they have to split their friends up.
I would never ever say that to you or wish that upon you. I was thinking like tug of war or something.
No.
Or relay race or who's gonna travel with who when we all go to Disney World or something like that. What?
Well, whoever travels with me is gonna have to be the driver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like driving.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Easy. Okay, we're going off topic, but anyway. Where were we? Oh, I was asking you about your proudest accomplishments.
I don't know. Frankie makes me proud every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing. In my head, like I told you I have like a low level for empathy, and I feel like I have to keep my empathy always on to relate to her and to be able to nurture her and comfort her, and that just drains me a lot. And so Gernon just gets no empathy and love from me sometimes. It's like, no, Frankie hugged me today. You don't get a hug. But so she, like, every day she makes me proud. There's different things she learns. Like, we got here at my brother's house, and before anyone told her anything, she put her own mask on, and she's like, I did it. I'm done. Let's go. I have my mask on, Mom. We can get out of the car and go in. And I'm like, that's a great thing for her to have learned, because she's seen me and her dad always putting our masks on before we go into stores. We tell her she can't go in without a mask. So she's learning, she's always been able to learn and understand. And just the way she learns and the way she processes the world amazes me and makes me super proud that I created such a tiny little creature.
Aww.
Of course, she's my firstborn, and I don't know if I'll ever feel that way about the second ones, but I hope I do. I hope I can still maintain this level of proudness and love for all of my kids that I eventually have.
I think you will, because the cool thing about having more than one child is that they will shine in different, in different ways. And you're going to see, like, they're all going to exhibit different parts of your personality. And you're going to get to, like, see that, but it's also going to make you really proud too. Like, that's how I feel about my kids also. They, like, my daughter, she's really, really smart. And I'm like, that's awesome. And my son, he's super creative, and then my youngest, he's super assertive. And all of those things are qualities that I admire. And so I'm just like, they're not at all alike though. You know what I mean? They're very different in their temperaments and in their personalities and their preferences. But they're all things about them that I'm just like, I really like that. I'm like, I really like you. You're a cool kid,
I'm glad I made you.
Like, you can stick around. I think we'll keep you.
I'm glad I kept you.
Ew, that's awful. Okay, next question. Kelsey. Like, I'm glad.
I feel like this goes into the next question.
It does. Okay, next question. What makes you laugh the most?
Oh my goodness. It ranges. Like, it'll be like the darkest, most twisted thing, like the joke I just made, I'm glad I kept you. It makes me laugh so much. Or it could be like the stupidest thing in the world. Like, an inside joke with my siblings is banana bread. It's like, why? Banana bread. Banana bread. You just keep saying it to each other. Banana bread. Why? Because banana bread. That's why. And it was just with our family, because it happened one time where my younger brother wasn't on his ADHD medications yet, so he'd get these fits of laughing. So anything you said to him made him laugh. And banana bread was one of them. Right, Ryan? Banana bread?
Banana bread?
Yep. I'm almost done. We're on question 7.
I don't know what that means. But we're losing light.
Okay. We're losing light for the egging. But I have like a dark sense of humor where some of the more darker things would make me laugh, or like the dark jokes would make me laugh.
I've seen that happen. I often feel guilty laughing at her jokes. I'm just kidding. I mean, people will probably see me when you say stuff. I'm just like, oh, Kelsey, don't say that.
I think a lot of my jokes come from it's like you're laughing, but if you weren't laughing, you'd cry. So you're gonna laugh or you're gonna cry, and sometimes you just need to laugh.
I know Shababe always says, if it's funny, it's okay. And I'm just like, dude, like, you need to check yourself.
That's also a personality trait I get from my dad, is like he had a really dark sense of humor, and I feel like I got a lot of like my personality and stuff from my dad. So it's like his dark sense of humor, his just anti-socialness is just a lot from him. So the thing that makes me laugh the most, we can't really air on YouTube.
I know, right? Okay, keep it clean. Just kidding. Let's see. All right. What upcoming projects are you excited about?
Projects. I'm really excited about this project that my team is working on, but I'm not really a part of it. I'm just facilitating and helping them keep on track on different things and providing input, but I can't wait to see what stuff they come out with, because it's not what they're used to working on, but they're definitely working really hard on it. So it's just waiting to see the end products and the results and seeing how it all meshes together. So I'm really excited for that to come out. like I said, I did a couple of film contests. One of them just announced the winner, so I can now publicly post that video. It was a 72-hour project.
Oh, wow.
Film thing. So
Mm-hmm.
we wrote it, filmed it, and edited it in 3 days. Which was the
Wow.
most fun I had during lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
the curfew.
Yeah. Did you win?
No, I didn't win, but it's like a big, wide Facebook thing. Not Facebook. Oh my gosh, I keep saying Facebook. YouTube. One of the YouTubers, he aired it, and there's a lot of other video production people who watch his videos too. So it's high
I
content.
I see. Wow, that's really cool though. I love that you're up for the challenge.
And it's just fun. It's like I said, like I could twiddle my thumbs all day on a personal project. As soon as like, oh, hey, you have 72 hours to write this and film this and do this. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Because I had a deadline, I have a criteria, I have a rubric, and it gets done. So I can air one of those videos soon.
Cool. Can't wait to see it. Are you gonna post it up on your YouTube channel and then share it on social media, or are you gonna put it on your website?
I'm probably gonna post it on my YouTube channel and then share it that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Because we're also trying to build up our own business YouTube channel where some of our projects go up there.
Yeah.
And just start building up that following there slowly.
Cool. Awesome. All right, next question. What is your dream job?
What is my dream job?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I love just working on a film studio day in, day out. It'd be nice to not have to worry about like, how much is this gonna cost? How much is that gonna cost? To do a job. Just like, oh, we're up. Here's the things. Let's film it. Let's get it in the can. Let's send it to the editor, and we're done. And then just do that every day in, day out. It's like, okay, what's the next project we can work on? Where do we want to film this? Who do we want to act in it? Just doing those little tiny jobs on the film set is my favorite thing to do. I would love to be a psychological researcher. I don't know what that entails, but it just fascinates me to watch the mind work. Like I said before, but I don't really know if that would be a dream job of mine because I have no idea exactly what the little details are.
Yeah. Cool. So are you where you thought you would end up, or are you in the path that you thought you'd be on?
It's really funny because in your interview, you said you always wanted to go to New York and just live there for a while and experience that whole New York life. I wanted to do the exact same thing.
Really?
Well, because originally I wanted to just be a photographer and just take photos.
Yeah.
And when I was a sophomore in high school, I wanted to go to this photography school in Paris, get my photography degree, live in New York for a while, be a photojournalist, and do that stuff. But then I got older and I realized I don't like being around a lot of people all the time. And New York is a lot of people all the time.
Like all the time. Dang, I know.
So that's just how that ended up being that way. And a lot of things happened during college with my mom and her personal life, and I had to come back and help with the family and the situation there. And then my dad got sick, so a lot of like me wanting to move away from Arizona, no one told me to stay. No one said this is your responsibility to stay, but I felt like I had to stay in a driving distance in case something really bad happened with my dad, which eventually it did. So I was glad I was around in his last days. So I'm not on the path I thought I would be on, but I feel like I am where I always thought I would end up, which is like back on the reservation, trying to, like I said, the thought of having a film studio didn't really cross my mind until the dream came of it. But yeah, so I have a daughter, so that's one thing I always wanted and ended up having.
Do you ever, this is kind of like just a side question, but do you ever feel like nostalgic for that life you dreamt of before things changed? Do you ever like, maybe not nostalgic, but just kind of like thinking back on how you felt when you were younger, thinking about all the possibilities of what it might be like, to travel overseas and go to Paris and live in New York City and be a photographer, Do you ever like, or you just kind of like completely move past it? You're like.
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I also feel like I was just being influenced by the media around me, because like all the movies, all the shows were, oh, we're going to move to New York and this is going to be our life. We're going to live in a crappy apartment until we make it big, and then we're going to have this great grand adventure. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s, those
Mm-hmm.
were the stories, kids moving to New York,
Mm-hmm.
living that life, accomplishing their dream in New York. Because that's the only place you can ever accomplish your dream, is in New York.
Well, they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So I always like, I'm up for the challenge. You know what I mean? That's what my mindset was like. If I
I
can make it
know.
there, I'm down. I want to try, but never got the opportunity to do
That
so.
my mindset of like accepting the challenge, it just like felt like that was the way it was supposed to be. If you're from a
Mm,
small town, you're artistic and a little bit weird and don't fit in, you're supposed to move to New York and accomplish your artistic dream and make it big there and show up and show up all the people in the small town, because
yeah.
that's what
Oh.
every narrative was in all the the movies and the TV shows. Like that's what the narrative was. You go to New York and you show everyone you can do it. But
Yeah.
I feel like when I just stopped consuming so much of those type of videos and movies, that's not what I wanted, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I wanted to party up there. That was like my whole thing, was like I wanted to party and go to the clubs, and you know what I mean? Like just be wild and go to shows, and like that was my whole thing. I was like, that would be so bad.
That's
Yeah.
like my problems. Like I don't like being in crowds. I don't like people being too close to me and around me. So going to clubs, going to parties, going to shows, it's like, no, I don't want all that. So there was no real reason to go to New York if I can get the same type of education here and
Mm-hmm.
just be closer to family when they need me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you're on a path now that you're happy with, and you're able to like really pick and choose what you do next. You know what I mean? Awesome. Okay, so question number 11. How has COVID-19 thrown a wrench in your gears?
Um, it it definitely stopped a major project that we had at the beginning of the year that was supposed to help launch our business into becoming full time. So that one stop kind of made us rethink of everything we had to do, and we've been working really hard on how to pivot our company so that everything doesn't hinge on one job again.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's not so much as throwing a wrench in my gears personally, because everyone's saying like, oh, it's so hard to stay home and not talk to anyone and not see anyone. Me, I'm trying really hard not to get comfortable there. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm a hermit. I'm an introvert at heart. I want to be alone. And everyone says, "Oh no, you really don't want to be alone. You think you do, but you don't." But like every instinct in my body is like just snuggle up in the mud and go to sleep and just let people walk by. And so I'm really trying hard to go to these workshops, be active in the different organizations I'm in, so that I don't get comfortable with not having to talk to anybody and not having to go out and not having to see anyone, because I
Yeah.
can get really comfy in that spot really fast.
Mm-hmm. What
So it's
organizations are you involved with?
um NWEAZ, the Native Women Entrepreneurs of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
That's really active in. We're actively working on uh, a virtual event right now. I'm trying to think of the
Mm-hmm.
name. We changed the name recently, so it's a virtual event. So I'm head of that planning committee, and we're getting that all set up and all worked out right now, contacting different people and entertainers and artists and things.
Cool.
So just staying connecting with them and just always constantly trying to stay connected with people, because, you know, I could just turn my phone off. I could just watch reruns of movies all day and close my doors and not talk to anyone, not see anyone. I've done it before. And so I'm really trying not to do it again. And that's the one thing COVID has done, is it stopped my networking that I've been trying to do. Yeah. Wow. Because everyone's trying to fill the void of not being able to see anyone. And I'm like, oh, really trying not to get comfortable in this void.
That's so funny. Okay, what is your favorite tea?
I honestly can't. I feel like jasmine tea, but I don't really know if jasmine is my favorite. I really enjoy just straight black tea. But there's so many teas, and I feel like I have to try all of them to know which one's my favorite. Right now, I've really been liking lemon ginger tea. It's kind of like more of an herbal remedy tea. I started drinking it when I was pregnant because it helped keep the nausea down. But I really like lemon and the ginger.
What about tea in the other sense of the word?
The other sense of the word tea. You know, watching all these tea videos on YouTube is kind of the equivalent of my grandma reading all of those
those tabloid magazines.
Those tabloid magazines, like the World Weekly or something, you know, like, oh no, this person had an alien baby. And sometimes I like watching all of that horrible train wreck go down, and sometimes I'm like, this is meaningless.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the Beauty Guru tea when it first started, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is weird. Huh. And I was just watching commenters comment on it, because I don't really watch beauty gurus and all of their stuff. And I'm like, oh, and then like new information came out, and new information coming. Oh, and this information that previously came out was false. And I'm like, huh, interesting. Well, back to my mythology videos and conspiracy theories. You know, like sometimes a drama comes up and you're like, what's this about? Why is everyone talking about it? But most of the time, I don't really pay attention to the tea.
I see. That's interesting. I know the biggest tea on the Navajo Nation right now is like the spending of the over $700 million in stimulus funds for, it was like emergency aid for the Navajo Nation. Everyone's like, council's doing this, the president's doing this. And then all the drama going down around the different distribution efforts. I'm just
One thing that's really annoying me right now is like, people are like, we don't need broadband. We don't need broadband. We need water. We need infrastructure. It's like, broadband's not the only thing they're spending money on. There's a whole laundry list of things they're spending money on. And you saying we don't need broadband is just ridiculous and stupid, because we do need broadband. Blah, 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 blah. We do need internet. I feel like we need cable internet or fiber optics internet. You know, the technology's out there to get through the whatever geological issues we have with running those wires. You just got to use it. But we need water first. I'm like, yeah, but you need water and you need food and you need houses, and people are like demanding free houses to be built. I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys sound like spoiled brats. I would like housing processes to be faster and quicker so I can build my own house. I'm not demanding a free house. You know, maybe like the apartment complexes like we've been talking about to be built so people can learn how to live on their own outside of their family and build credit and all that other stuff that comes with being in an apartment. But we also need internet to work and function properly as a society. And I hate people like, we just need water and we need electricity and you have to pay for our water line to go through. And it's like a lot of people had to pay for that themselves. There's processes and a system to get water and electricity. You just want somebody to pay it for you. And that's what's, because there's no process to get better internet than what we already have. this is what you get and that's all you're gonna get. It's like we need better internet.
I agree with you 100% on that. We do. I mean, especially working for an institution of higher learning, you know what I mean? How are our students going to continue with their studies? A lot of people are derailed right now just because of the pandemic, and having really good internet service would make it possible for people to continue. And this isn't just where I'm working, this is all colleges and all schools. I mean,
not even just higher learning schools, like elementary school students, high school students, middle school students, they're going to need this internet because it's not safe for them to go back.
Absolutely. That's the big T too, is like all the people who are like, let's send our kids back to school. Like Doug Ducey.
No.
Dude, really? I'm like, really? Are you freaking kidding me? Like they're letting people out of, they're letting people out of prison and out of jail right now because it's not safe to be indoors. And then they want to send a bunch of kids into a school. Like, that's crazy.
I've heard arguments that, like, it's just so that the parents can get back to work. And that's a stupid reason, because if the kid gets sick, then the parent still has to stay home. Or what if the parent gets sick, and where's the kid going to go then?
I mean, there was, other countries that have better leadership. They're paying people, they're making sure that people have a roof over their heads, food in their bellies, and that they have the utilities they need, to meet their basic human needs, and they're covering it. The government is making sure that, people don't have to pay their rent or their mortgage for a period, so that their number of cases can go down. Like, they're actually making moves to make sure the curve is flattened.
Yeah,
it's
but that's socialism.
People need to
socialism.
People don't even understand what socialism is. I feel like it reminds me of like the Red Scare back in the day, when people were so afraid of communism without really understanding what it is. All they knew is like their enemies were communists. But actually understanding how an economy works within a communist system, how a government works, and how society functions, I feel like people don't really understand that because they're not reading about it. You know what I mean? They're not actually taking the time to research. They just know, like, oh, well, this is what my bros believe, or this is what I read on the news, or this is what I heard on YouTube, and it's like, whoa.
Or that one Facebook meme, it's like, this scientist who has multiple degrees and works in their field actively says don't do this, but my high school friend who barely graduated with, a D in science says this. I don't know who to believe.
Exactly. I mean, and I think too many people are comfortable being minimally informed. So that's the tea I'm gonna spill. Like, yo, like, look into it and read about it, because I don't know. I've had to deal with someone very recently who was just like total conspiracy theorist without even, like, everything this person was saying was BS. It was just so wrong. And this person believed it. And I was like, oh, I was just frustrated. I was like, wow. Like,
people like to believe narratives they build up in their head, and if like something contradicts it, then they have to fight tooth and nail, because how dare they be wrong about something.
I know. I'd really like to encourage people to read more, and not just stuff on the internet, but actual books and research, and like,
or just don't talk. You don't say
anything. Okay, next question. Okay, what is one song that would surprise people that you like?
Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls by TLC.
For real? What parts do you sing? T-Boz?
Well, I don't sing the rap part because I have a lisp and my tongue gets all tied.
Really? I always sing Left Eye's part. Oh, I rap it. Ew. I don't rap. I know the whole dance to oh shoot, I can't even remember that song now. Never mind, forget it. But there was this one, remember that video where they're wearing those big silk pajamas?
I only know that song, and I only like that song.
Oh, Waterfalls?
Mm-hmm.
Well, me too, Waterfalls. Anyways, I used to know that whole dance in junior high, and like whenever we'd have dances in school, I would like break it out, be all proud of it. Like,
You were in junior high when that CD. I was like in elementary school, I think.
I know.
It's just one of the songs that I remember and just liked almost instantly, and just
Mm-hmm.
always liked it growing up. It's been like my longest favorite song.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I never would have guessed.
Nope.
Okay. So last question. Why did you move back to the reservation? Tell
Because
us
there
your
was
story.
no rent. If you
No,
want
it's
the
real
simple,
simple.
cheap answer, well, like a lot of things happened. Like with your story, like a lot of things happened at the moment of making the decision to have to move back. Is that I got pregnant. The rent was going up in our apartment, and we were barely making ends meet then.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I would rather be in a stable position while in pregnancy than be stressing out and trying to figure out how to pay rent and save up enough money to feed a baby. So I just moved back home.
I see.
But being back home and staying there, I realized there's a lot of things we have to get started on and working on actively to make it a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the stress of moving, so I told my husband, I'm like, if we move once, and we'll be there for a couple of years, because I don't like moving all the time, like packing everything up and putting it in boxes and unpacking it and then blah, blah, blah. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to move every other year.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm
So,
moving too.
and then like I was involved in the community for a little while. After I had the baby, my mom's like, Kelsey, you just stay home all day. You need to get out of the house and do something. I'm like, fine, I'll join this committee and do something, I guess. And it was easier then because she was a newborn and she slept most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But like figuring out what all the frustrations are with just trying to get a home, trying to get a business, trying to get anything done on the reservation, especially if your chapter is no longer certified. Like Window Rock doesn't help you out. They don't give a crap if you're not making money for them. You know, like they keep all your money. They don't let you decide what programs your community needs. They say, oh, we decide this for you. This is what your community needs because this benefits Window Rock. And that's really frustrating and annoying. And this is why I don't like democracy. But because a lot of loud, wrong voices are still wrong, no matter how loud they are.
You know what? I feel that sentiment. I actually posted something on Twitter kind of to that effect because, there are a lot of, I mean, you know me, I'm all about like Native empowerment. I do care about people who are well versed in some of the issues that are, important to us as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I do support people voicing their concerns and, fighting for issues that are important. But at the same time, I was frustrated one day and I posted, you can be Native, Indigenous, empowered, educated, enlightened, a statistical anomaly, a fighter for the people, a vocal advocate, a point of light in the darkness, and still be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, because there are some people that think like, oh, well, I have a PhD, I have all the answers. But they're so wrong in some of their assumptions and their arguments and the way they're like presenting. I'm just like, And or you can be like a pair of PhDs and still not be able to make a clear point. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that, and these are the people that everyone is looking to, thinking like, oh, this person is so wise, this person is brilliant, this person is an exception to the rule. And I'm just like, yeah, but they're also wrong about this one thing, you know? And so, or even in the methods, you know, that they're utilizing, I'm just like, ugh, like face palming. And I think, and it wasn't even to just like call anyone out or name any names. It was more just like, hey, everyone, regardless of where you're at, you know, on the ladder, like, check yourself, you know, like, think about it, like, be humble and really like think twice about what you're saying or putting out there. But
Yeah.
like all of us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I moved back because of, you know, financial issues and everything, but I definitely stayed just because it's definitely a lot harder to try and build something on the reservation, but it's never going to get done unless somebody actually stays and tries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my older brother, he's like, you can move to Albuquerque or New Mexico somewhere and they have a nice rising film industry that you can be a part of. I'm like, but that's not what I want. I don't want to be a part of a film industry. I want to create a film industry. And that's a lot harder. It takes a lot longer. I'm gonna be poor most of it. You know, I'm not making lots of money. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is not to be super rich. It's just to be happy. And I think a lot of people don't view it that way, especially my older brother. He's like, no, you got to make money, 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 money. It's like, but I don't want to make money, money, money. I want to live on a mountaintop in a little cabin with a whole bunch of flowers and herbs and my vegetables and just not talk to anyone. But no, I have bills to pay, you know?
Yeah, I know.
So, and I like being on the reservation. There's not a lot of people. There's a lot of open land.
Mm-hmm.
Where I picked my home site lease, you can't even hear the highway. It's nice and quiet. There's no one. So,
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are all of the questions. And I think you still have a little bit of light to go do your
Maybe.
editing.
I feel like you talked during this interview than I did.
I know, I was all running my mouth.
You already had an interview, Adrian. You had your time.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you, Kelsey, for letting me do this interview with you, and I hope you have a great weekend. It's past lockdown right now, so I need to somehow get out of this building and get home.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I gotta get home.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's been great talking to you and interviewing you.